As you can see, I'm all set up to draw Cubby the Bear. I've got this rectangular border, as you can see. I have this light cross in the middle. I'll call this cross a reference point. Okay, let's get started. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to draw a slanted line that goes across my page. So let's figure out where that's going to be. So I'm going to come in from my left border. I'm going to come across the top of my border, and I'm going to make a mark at a spot that's about right here. Go ahead and mark that with me on your paper as well. Okay, see that right there? Here's my reference point cross. I'm going to go just a little bit to the right, and I'm going to put another mark, slanted, only about that far away. Coming down here to my bottom border, this is the right corner. I'm going to come in towards the left a fairly short distance, and I'm going to put a mark about right here. So as you can see, I've got three marks, one at the top, one near the middle, and one here at the bottom. And what I want to do is I want to connect those together in a type of slanted line. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll start drawing here from the top, and I'll sketch towards the mark in the middle. Hit that right there. I'm going to keep on going down to a spot right there. And I want that line to be slanted, sketchy, as you can see, something about like that. Now you can see me going over that a few times, making it a little bit darker, a little bit easier for you to see. But it would be best if you kept your sketchy line nice and light. Okay, excellent. Next thing to do, as I want to draw in an oval for the shape of Cubby the Bear's head. But before I draw that, I want to know about how big it is. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to come down from my top border, down this line, until I get to a spot that's about right here. And I'm going to put a mark on the line right there. Judge the distance from the border to the line, put a mark. Okay, now let's come down here to the bottom. Let's go up this line to a spot that's about right here. Now try to judge that distance. How far is it from your border to this mark that I made? So go ahead and put that right there. Good. The side. Now this is my left border, and I'm going to come in towards the right, and I'm going to judge a distance that I want to be about, maybe about right here. And I'm going to draw a vertical line. Okay. That looks about right to me. Coming over here to my right border, I'm going to come into the left a short distance, maybe something like this, and I'm going to draw another vertical line. Okay, so I have four lines, one at the top, one at the bottom, one on the left, and one on the right. And I want to draw an oval that touches those four marks. So I'm going to come here at the top, to my spot right here, and I'm going to start drawing downward, as you can see. Excuse me. And I'm going to hit that right there. I'm going to keep on coming downward, drawing towards my mark with a curving line like that. So I've got about half of my oval. From the bottom, I'm going to curve up, hit my mark about there, and I'm going to continue connecting towards the top like this. Drawing it light at first. If I'm feeling good about that, I'm going to go over that again, and you can see this oval. I'm going to go over that a little bit, make it just a little bit darker so you can see it, but yours should be nice and light. Don't make it dark. Keep your sketch nice and light. So there I have an oval for Cubby the Bear, his head. Alright, back to my reference point. Now I'm going to draw a slanted line, and I want it to end about right here. So this is my slanted line. I'm going to come up this oval just a little bit to the right. I'm going to put a mark about right there. You can see that. And I'm going to draw from my reference point cross towards that mark with a slanted line like this. Good. Okay, another one. From my reference point, I'm going to draw another slanted line, but I want it to take a look at this, and I want it to end up about right here. And I'll put a mark for myself to go to. So I'll go from my reference point cross downward about like that. Okay, let's do another one. Now for my reference point cross, I'm going to go almost straight across, but not quite, just a little bit lower than straight across me right there. And I'll put a mark right there. And from my reference point, I want to draw slanting downward just a little right there. Okay, so I've got one line, 2, 3, let's do one more. Okay, now this one's a little tricky, and what I want to do is I want to draw a line that's slanted, and I want it to be about halfway between here and here. So about halfway is probably something about right, about right there, I think. And I'm going to draw from my reference point towards that mark like that. Okay, and those 4 lines are going to help me draw different parts of Cubby the Bear. Okay, so let's start with some different body parts. So what I want to draw in now is the snout of Cubby the Bear. Alright, now I want it to be kind of close to my left border. So from my left border I'm going to come in to the right a short distance, about this far, and I'm going to draw a vertical line right there. Okay, so then from where this line touches my oval, I'm going to slant down just a little and hit that mark right there. Okay, that's going to give me the top of my bear's snout. Alright, then down from the bottom of my oval, I'm going to start slanting, curving off of it, about like that. And I'll stop there for a moment, let you see that. So what I want to do then is I want to connect from here to here with a nice curving line. Now you can see I drew that so light you can't even see it. Now I'm going to make that just a little bit darker, this nice curve like this, and connecting it like that. There we go. Once again, I'm going over that a little bit darker so you can see it, so you can catch up with me. But don't make yours dark. Keep it nice and light. Now, one of the fun things about this bear is he's wearing a necktie. That's unusual. Alright, this slanted line, I'm going to bring it down just a little bit further so it touches the bottom. This will be kind of his chin. It kind of touches right there. Okay, so what I want to draw is I want to draw a shape for the necktie, and it's going to go from about here. I'll put a mark that slants the opposite direction, and I'm going to draw this one also a little bit longer, maybe to a spot right there. Okay, now coming down here to the bottom border, I'm going to come up from it a really short distance, and I'm going to draw a horizontal line that's about here. Alright, let's sketch in a shape for the necktie. So I'll slant this direction, hit my horizontal line, okay. Then from here I'm going to slant this direction, downward, curving just a bit, and I'll just bring it over and kind of connect like that. Okay, I'll go over that again so you can see it. There we go. And that shape will be filled up by the necktie of our bear. Next thing, his eye. So his eye is going to be in this general area, and what I want to do is put a couple marks to help me figure out how big it is. Okay, first, here's my reference point cross. I'm going to go away from it to the left, and I'll put a vertical line about right there. From the side of my oval, I'll come in to the right about that far. I'll put a vertical line right there. From this line, I'll come down, maybe about right there. And I'll put a horizontal mark. Alright, I'm ready to draw. So what I want to do is I want to start from here. I'm going to draw it up until I hit my slanted line. Then as soon as I hit my slanted line, I'm going to start curving, and I'll bring it around and down like this. Okay, and that's half of his eye. I'm going to keep going. From here I'm going to curve downward, and I'll hit my mark, stop, and then I'll do the same thing over here. I'll curve downward, keep it nice and round, and I'll hit right there, and that'll be a spot, a shape filled up by the eye. Okay, next thing I want to look at, cheek. Now this cheek is a little tricky. I'll show it to you. So I'm going to draw another circle in here. I want the top of it to be inside this one. So I'll put a little mark right here. I want it to be about this close to my big oval right there. And I want it to go down about this far. I also want it to touch my slanted line here. Alright, so let's take a look, and we'll draw. Start here, I'll draw downward, hit my mark, keep coming down, hit that, I'll draw over here, I'll hit that. Let's go around that a couple times. And there you can see it. There it is. And that'll be for the cheek of my bear. Okay, next thing I want to draw is I want to draw a piece of his hair. So this will be a little bit fun to do. So here we go. So I'm going to look at this line, and I'm going to put a mark for me to start, which is really close to it. I'll just put a little mark right there. Okay, that looks pretty good. I want it to be really close to the top of his eye, so I'll put another mark right there. Okay, now this next mark I'm going to do is kind of a hard one, and so I'm going to go across from this, but not straight across. I'm going to slant just a little, right there. So right here when I hit, from here to here, and I hit right there, that'll be the spot I'm going to. Okay, so I'm going to mark that spot right there. So I've got 3 spots, here, here, and here. And I'm going to draw a curving line that touches those 3. You kind of see my pencil going in this direction. Okay, so let's do that. So I'm going to draw downward with a curve. I'm going to hit right there. Stop for a second. I'm going to go from here to there with a curving line. And so I'll just keep going with that curve like that. And there we go. Shape for some hair. Okay, next thing I'm doing, also a little bit confusing. I've got to draw in, over in this general area, some type of circle for his ear. But before I draw it, let's figure out about where it is and about how big it is. Okay, so if I have my slanted line right here, I'm going to go up my hairline, and I'm going to put a mark about right there. That looks good. Here's my hairline. I'm going to go up this line. Here's my hairline and my oval. I'll come up about right there. That looks about right. Here's my right border. I'm going to come in to the left. I'm going to make a vertical line about right here. Okay, now this one's the hard one. I'm going to start from right here. I'm going to come down my oval to a spot about right. About right there. Okay, so in this general area right here is where I want to draw an oval. There we go. Come down, draw towards my mark, and there it is, the oval for the ear of Cubby the Bear. Now another interesting fact, not only is this bear wearing a bow tie, but he's also wearing a hat. Okay, so we got to draw the brim of the hat. Okay, so we want to start it right here. Where this slanted line touches my oval, let's put a mark right there. And where my hairline touches my circle, right there. Okay, so what I want to draw is a really gentle curve that goes from here to here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that like this, and I'll hit that right there. Okay, and that gives me the bottom of the brim. Now I'm going to keep on going, and I want this brim to curve up, go inside the ear, and then outside the ear, curving up, close to my border, stop. Okay, then the front of the brim also, I'm going to keep on going with it out. I'm going to stop about right there. Okay, so there you can see the bottom of the brim of the hat. Alright, so over here let's draw the front edge of it, and that's just kind of a vertical line about right here. And I'll make it about that tall. On this side, I don't want it to be straight, I want it to slant in a bit, and I'll make it about that tall. And then I want to connect these with not a straight line, but a line that curves. And so I'm going to sketch it in really light like that. You can barely see it. And then I'll go over that just a little bit darker. And you can see the brim of his hat. Okay, now there's the brim. Let's do the top of it. Okay, so this is the brim of the hat. I'm going to come this direction, going to the left, and I'll put a mark about right there. That's how wide I want it to be at the front. At the back, I'll come from my oval to the right, maybe a mark about right there. Okay, now let's draw this line a little bit taller, a little bit longer, and I'm going to bring it up to a spot about right there. Okay, that looks good. And let's make this one also a little bit taller, and I'll bring it up a little bit further so it ends up just under my top border about there. Okay, good. Then I'm just going to connect those, but instead of connecting with a straight line, I'll just put a little bit of a curve into it. And we'll have his hat curve a little like that. Okay, and that gives me the top of the hat. Okay, just one more thing to do. We've got to draw a piece of his hair that's on the other side of his head. It's really easy. So here's the bottom of the brim of his hat. I'll just put a little mark right there. Here's my snout line. I'm going to come up from that. I'll put a mark about right there. And all I want to do is just draw a curve kind of in between those marks like this. And that gives me this shape for the piece of his hair that's poking out on the other side of his head. Alright, as you look at this sketch, you can see we now have a simplified version of Cubby the Bear, ready for some details.